I paid $2,856 and got out just above 30K
30
and
grand.
30 grand. Yeah,
Wow,
just above a 10x and in
crazy.
a month, basically.
Thank you so much for joining me today, Tobias. It's good to have you on. And my first question actually would be, what was your experience with crypto before working with us, and how did the results change after joining us?
Well, before I joined you, I had just about no experience with crypto. The only thing I knew at that point was that what I read was quite complicated. It was quite abstract concepts that I had no contact with yet.
Yeah,
So it was pretty clear for me that I needed some kind of mentor, some kind of class I can work with that can bring these abstract concepts I do not understand closer to me. And
nice.
yeah, that is in the end what has led me to you. Afterwards, well, it was a clear structured class system, as well as the community. Everyone helps each other. So it pretty skyrocketed my understanding of crypto. And I would not be at this point had I not partaken in those classes.
Appreciate it, bro. Really appreciate it. And I think that ties into myself because I would have not been here without 8 years of trial and error, which is kind of like a hard realization because I needed a captain on my ship as well. And I sadly enough didn't get it. To me, it was like the trial and error. So I really wanted to create something like this that really contributes to the ebbs and flows of being in crypto. And yeah, man, like I think I really needed this myself too. And based on that need, obviously, like what would you say are like 2 to 3 of the highlights of working with us together in terms of success?
Mm, Well, one big thing that I just absolutely did not expect, and which has led to, I believe, out of everything, to the greatest success is just the community itself. I know this sounds super cheesy, of course, but it is true. Like just a community where you can ask casual questions and maybe even ask someone for just a one-on-one call aside from you, who's not part of the team, who's just another client, and just talk with them. I've also taken out some friends from the project itself. Have met some, not all yet, sadly, in real life. So that would probably be the greatest thing that
Nice.
has given me the most success. And aside from that, just the beginner course, just a very linear, very taken to hand course for starting everything up before I can make my first transaction. Because well, that's just the first step, the first stone in my way to do that. And well, that's basically where most people falter. So that has
Gotcha.
helped a lot
Yeah.
as well.
Absolutely. I think that's what I messed up as well. In the beginning, you just get into crypto, you see all of these exchanges, you feel like the big hero with the lack of knowledge, just making moves all around the place, not knowing what you're doing, and then just losing it all, which is why people call crypto a gamble. But fun to be told, like true to be told, they are the gamble, essentially. And just, yeah, it's just what it is. It's like a cycle of hope and pray. You get into something you're not aware of, you don't know what you're doing, you lack the knowledge, and then you obviously get into the wrong decisions. Now, aside of wrong decisions and talking about clearly a great decision that you made, which was joining us, what would you say in terms of like financial success that you achieve with us? How did it look like numbers wise? Because I kind of forgot.
Well, most of my finances are still inside, so I've not taken out much out of crypto yet. But aside from winnings that I have had yet, or just a little short thing where you put in a group, just okay, look at these coins, these might be interesting in the short term. There's some stuff brewing there, which was my first big gain, where I've just put in 3K and gotten out just under five. So good and solid, I believe 58% win was it.
Wow.
And well, that was just the first thing, which happened in less than a month, I believe. It was just, yeah, look at a coin. I read through the white paper. Okay, yeah, should be interesting. There's a community decision coming up, and lo and behold, it
Yeah.
shot up for some while, and I got out at the top and made my first 6% only on 3K, which is not a life-changing amount. But come on, who's saying no to almost $2,000?
Wow.
I believe nobody.
And what's
And
what's up with the 30K then? You told me something about 30K as well, right? That was
yeah,
the
yeah,
second month or
there was, well, not the second month. It was just afterwards when we entered our big project, all with the game plan. That was just the 30 days after the launch of the project, where
nice.
my first miners basically hit maturity, and I reinvested all of that. I've not taken anything out, but basically To start the miners, I paid $2,856 if I'm just about that amount, and got out just above 30K, $30,800 after 30 days of maturity. So that was my first big win,
Nice.
obviously.
30
And
grand.
30 grand, yeah,
Wow.
just above a 10x, and in a
Crazy.
month, basically, which is
Nice.
pretty crazy, yes.
Well, a 10x, I would say is a 10x rare in crypto. It's part of the game. It's rare as opposed to real estate and traditional vehicles and everything. But what would you say were like the main factors in time in terms of like what we did specifically with and for you in terms of guidance that you think has really set this like success into stone? Both like the mini one you had in the beginning and then over time the 10x running to even more right now. Like what was the thing that set us apart, you think?
Well, I believe the thing that you did differently than many other projects or mentors do would probably not say, okay, this thing is the one we do. We do not do anything else. Put your money into this and you will be rich. But rather you did just a casual someday without any forewarning, put a notice in our group chat where we said, okay, yeah, those four coins are interesting. Maybe read through them and tell me what you think about them and stuff and like that. And that's what basically kicked off the first mini win. And the second
Nice.
one was, well, that was from our big game plan, which the one project we focused on, not exclusively, but
Yeah.
which we just said would be the most interesting. And yeah, we communed, we talked about it a lot with you and also privately in the community, and just came to the decision that making miners over different time stamps would be the most efficient. And in the end, that came true, as
Nice.
we can see on the 30K.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think crypto to me, and I think to anyone basically is crypto is a game of real-time knowledge. Like you know Marco, right? One of the
Yep,
students.
yep.
He's been with us for 4 years in a row. He's been extending the mastermind for 4 years in a row.
Okay.
It's crazy. That's been quite a while. I think 3 to 4 years. I'm not 100% sure. I think 3 to 4. But like what he has been doing is massive. And what he told me is similar to what you just said, and it's that you just need the right knowledge and the right guidance at the right time. That's where we refer to the game plan, right? And I think a lot of people in crypto really lack that idea of just having that guidance because when making all the money on the 30 grand as you've seen, like obviously that's one big party, but in the meantime, and I think that was just a couple of weeks or something in between, but then still in that small meantime there, if hope somehow changes, like if it feels like, well, cool, this was it, and what's going to be next, you didn't expect it, we obviously set ourselves up for it, but hope is needed as well. So you need the right strategy and the right guidance at the right time. I think that's a very important thing in crypto that a lot of people lack.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Would you say that the fact that your personal life in other different areas aside of the financial stuff?
Mm, well, one big change I noticed, well, not change I noticed, but something I've definitely put more of a thought to was just like my daily management, like managing my time. Because crypto is like the one big thing aside from my job, obviously, which I dedicated time every day to.
Gotcha.
So on that, kind of just, okay, I need to, or I want to take out 1 hour a day for crypto just to read through some stuff. When am I going to do that best? Yeah, probably after 19 o'clock when I'm done with my other stuff. How long is that going to take? And from just, yeah, having one thing a day that I want to do from for a specific time frame just made me plan out my day in full, which I have basically never done before. And I mean,
Wow.
never.
Crazy. Well, I think that really contributes to a lot of life force and the way we live and the way we can operate. Because at the end of the day, the reason I run this mastermind is because the money that we're making right now is a facilitator of more free time with the people that we love. And I think that that's what I'm all about. Like a lot of people will face this as this is a money thing. This is solely focused on money. You're not contributing any value because you make money through crypto. But then at the other side of things, I really do believe that the money that you make becomes a facilitator to be an overall more like better human being that has the time to spend with their family and obviously like go through a shift like the one you mentioned. So yeah, and what I think about like that entire shift in its entirety is like obviously there's two sides to the puzzle, right? There's a time where we knew each other. I think we kind of found each other on Instagram, which is pretty
Yeah.
fun. But then before, there was a Tobias without Money Magnet. There was a Tobias without that 30 grand, without the mastermind. What's kind of like the friction you felt on your ego or beliefs when it came to moving from an old vehicle of being in the 9 to 5 with the German police officers and like being in that industry, and then just aside of that, branching out to making an additional income stream? Any friction on ego or belief there?
Uh, for myself personally, not much, no, because I just try to keep my ego as low as possible. I've been in the military. I'm still with the volunteer firefighters. I am an active police officer. It's just all jobs and things in life where you cannot have an ego whatsoever. So
Yeah.
personally, I haven't had not much friction with that. Yes, with personal beliefs, yeah. I mean, crypto, as I've said before, is a very abstract concept, especially how crypto digital currency can have value. That's the first very abstract concept one has to understand when starting with crypto. That would probably be the biggest thing. Um, but if you have enough, lines um, to build to real life, like how rich people avoid taxes, there are some parallels to pick from that when you want to learn why does crypto have value.
Yeah.
So yeah, that challenged my personal beliefs a bit, but I've not had a problem with ego so far.
Gotcha. Well, that's great. I think it's a unique place to be at. Was there in like since there was no ego moment, was there a moment where you were like, okay, this entire like DeFi passive income strategy that we're sharing inside of the mastermind, which is obviously dynamic. This is not a one fit answer, like you mentioned. It's always changing, which is why people apparently just keep being with us for a while, which is great. But like, what would you say is like the moment where you felt like, yes, this method, this thing, it works for me? Like, what was the tipping point for you?
Well, probably again at the point after I just I finished the basic course just to set my stuff up, got my laptop, got my security in place, very important.
Yeah.
And at that point, I just started to write some messages, just talk to people in the mastermind in a group. Before
Yeah.
that, I didn't really interact with the other people, and that was just the thing that set it up. Of course, I mean, going through the setup, going through security is a very dry and boring process in itself, because once you got it, there is nothing much more to learn on there as long as you got it set up as well. But
Yeah.
just the moment I got bombarded with information, every answer I had, building up on security and the basic stuff I put in a group was just answered immediately. That was
Nice.
like the thing, okay, these people are real. This group is just people in real life that want to help each other, that want to help themselves. And that was just such a great thing for me. That was definitely what has set it up.
Same, bro. Still here. Same here. And the best thing that we didn't even notice was all these successes that you just mentioned were in a bear market. We're now facing a bull market. It's a pretty interesting period. We have this Ethereum ETF hype and everything going on. There's a lot of things within the strategy that we're looking at right now, dynamically speaking, that are changing, that are lining up for even bigger wins. I'm pretty excited. You've seen that in the last couple of Q&As. I'm just always like, this is even going to get better. We're just like still at the beginning of this entire journey. But like knowing that we're at the beginning of this journey, there's people that even still have to start the entire journey. What do you think sets us, the strategy, the way of thinking, the way of being in crypto apart? And what are like what in your like in the very short to the point question, where do you think people mess up? What's kind of like the mistakes they make and the things they don't see that we do see?
Well, taking the first step is 90% of the problem on people. Um, yeah, to keep it not so short, I have also spoken with close friends to get them on the train and everything of crypto because I want to have them a great future. I want to have them a financially uh, stable future. But with most, it's just they trust me, I trust them and everything. But just taking the first step into something entirely new, that is
Crazy.
just the one thing that is the most difficult. And I believe I've had it pretty easy with the mastermind so far. Taking the first step, getting the first information before I started or anything, having the first talk with you. Obviously, that was
Yeah.
always the main thing that helped. Just
Yeah,
the
right.
first personal contact before I was even part of it.
Yeah.
I believe there's few people who actually do that just to take the time to talk with everyone who wants to be a part.
Bro, it's insane. I had a guy, his name is John, and he was trading with Instagram models. So he was looking up Instagram models, like females and all these pictures going on and everything. And he called one of them, or the other way around, and it was like a male voice. Like, hey, we're trading like, what is that? It's so insanely crazy. Like, I get the fact that people are skeptical about an industry like crypto because of all these things. It's not a wonder they are. But then like, why do people not want to see the faces, right? Like just like you and I, we hopped on. Before that, you were a pixel to me, and I was probably a pixel to you. We were just some pixels on a screen at that point, up until the point where we met, we talked, we shared ideas, and we were like, yeah, we can just like take this on, right? So obviously every journey has ebbs and flows, and like we just got to be truthful about that. Like every single thing we take on in life, there's going to be moments like in the beginning where it's like a bit of the ebbs, and out of a sudden you take the flow, you get to that 30 grand, you're all lined up ready to take your next massive leap. And then there's again some ebbs, and then there's some flows. So I would say what is like the ebbs and the flows, or what is like your moment where you're like, hey, this is holding me back from getting to that next massive goal with you guys? Because in my opinion, also in business, you're going to run into a problem. That problem is going to be fixed, and you're going to be running into a bigger but a better problem. What's holding you back from running into that bigger, better problem right now?
Time. Time, not
Yeah.
personal time, not time to be able to read into crypto, not time to be able to um, just read through the whole chat of the mastermind, but
Yeah.
rather time in a sense of just finding the perfect time to get into crypto, to get out of projects, which obviously is just in forex trading, in the stock market. It's basically just the very same thing, but you need to get a feeling for it. So
Yeah,
actually, rather than time, I'd say experience. But experience
absolutely.
comes with time, so that's not something I can remediate immediately. It's just something yeah, I have to keep track of
Yeah.
and build upon. So yeah.
Gotcha. Well, that's the thing. And I think like this entire idea of deflation that I recently shared in a few of my previous videos is quite massive, because the more the supply of something decreases, the more the value goes up. But supply doesn't decrease in one day, and people tend to forget that, which is where if we see how supply takes its time to gradually just get out of systems, and over time it becomes harder to create certain assets or harder to take certain entries, then it's pretty obvious to connect the dots and see how the value of what we hold and what we mine and what we create in certain strategies is always going up. And I think that puts us in a different daylight than most people, because most people are just hoping and praying for Bitcoin or Ethereum to go up. The typical main
Yeah.
coins that do not even move up with $100 or $200 a day. They need time to take off as well. And I think that a core concept of deflation really allows us to be set apart from that market volatility in a way where we can make money, and other people will be like, hey, this is taking so long. What am I doing wrong? They chase hype, we chase logic, and I think that really sets us apart in some way. Yeah. So yeah. And I think they also chase dopamine. Like what you just said, true to be told, a lot of people are just very good at pretending to be busy. They are like, yeah, but I have a job, and I don't have a lot of time, and I don't have a lot of money. And then I'm wondering, like, this is the number one reason, and completely aside of this mastermind, this is not me willing to have these people, because in all honesty, brother, you know what it is. You've been in the military, you're a police, like you know what action is. And I think that was the lead, like that was the lag indicator for many, and for you that was like the thing that pushed you up, which is in my opinion the exact same fuel in my veins, don't you think, for you in
Yeah,
that
yeah.
case? Yeah.
Very much so, yes. Yes, many people are just trying to chase after a short-term gratification.
Yeah.
But if you go to the gym, it's nothing's gonna happen in one day.
Yeah.
Uh, if you do memory training, if you're a bit older and you want to keep your mind on top of the game, it's not gonna be any use to just do it one day.
That's it.
You need to chase after something if you really want it. All the
It's
more with money, because money is just a very central and important thing in society. So if you want money, you got to work for it.
That's it. Yeah. And if you lack the time, you need the money to facilitate the time you need. So if there's no change, well, then there will be no change. What you ask is what you get. So I love that, bro.
Exactly.
I definitely love that. Um, to anyone that might be looking at this video at this point, anyone through maybe YouTube or organically on the website, or they just found us in some potential way, and this person has not joined the mastermind yet, what would you say? What would you say to them? Like, what would be the limiting beliefs you think they need to get out of the way? What would be the thoughts they need to get out of the way? What would you say to these people?
Well, the first thing which sets apart every part of society is everyone loves money, but most people hate working for money or making money, because crypto is not that much work compared to my 41-hour week. It really is not. In the beginning, yeah, it's just difficult to learn, but what's not difficult to learn? We've all been in school. So
Nice. Yeah.
one thing I'd really want to say to everyone is, if you really want it, then you got to do it. There's no way around it. Just don't wait until you win the lotto, because it's not going to happen. Don't wait until you find 100,000 laying on the street, because it's not going to happen. But what can happen is that you start doing this, you stay doing this, and after a long time, not so long time, well, I did my 30K after basically 30 days of making a single decision. So after not so a long time, you will have results if you stay doing it.
Nice. So you would say, instead of working hard, also try to work smart, and don't be busy, just make it happen.
Exactly.
Amazing. Tobias, thank you so much for your time today. Take care, and let's keep crushing it, man. I'm excited to make a new video in the future to actually look back at the 30K and feel small, as opposed to what we'll do in this cycle. It will be insane.
I hope so as well.
Exactly. Hey guys, for the first time ever, we just released our insane DeFi passive income training that covers everything I have learned, going from $0 to over $1.5 million with crypto by the age of 25. And it's online right now for a limited time only. So if you want to get your hands on it before it disappears, make sure to click the first link down below in the description right now.